Let us quickly scan the body from toe to head and head to toe. Let us withdraw the attention from the body and focus on the breath. Natural breath, not changing the pattern. Breath as it is. The inhalation, the exhalation. Entire attention on the breath. Let us withdraw the attention from the breath and focus on what are my feelings, what am I thinking. Both are thoughts. The observer also is a thought. So let us observe all the thoughts without judgment, without choice, without dwelling on any particular thought pattern. Let us become aware of the observer who is observing the world, the body, the breath, the feelings, the thoughts. While exhalation, we can bring a thought, Jagan Mithya. While inhaling, Brahma Satya, and hold on the breath and have a thought, Aham Brahmasmi. This is Vedantic meditation. While exhaling, Jagan Mithya. While inhaling, Brahma Satya. And holding the breath, Aham Brahmasmi. When we create a thought with the breath goes to every cell of our body. And with that, this thought also goes. That is the purpose of doing with the breath. So after putting our entire effort, let us invoke God's and Guru Parampara's grace, because the final pole vault happens only with grace. We can only prepare the bed, try to sleep, but the final change of the state from the waking state to the deep sleep state happens only with grace. In the same way in meditation, We can only reach to a particular point. After that, we need grace. So let us chant loudly and invoke the grace of the Lord and Guru Parampara. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत् सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ ईशावास्यमिदगं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनं कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेच्छतगं समाः। एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे असुर्यानामते लोकाः अन्धेन तमसा वृताः तागंस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये केचात्महनो जनाः अनेजदेकं मनसो जबीयः नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतोऽन्यानत्येत तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति।
Thank you, Vidya. So we are doing Isavasya Upanishad, the first mantra. Isavasyam idagam sarvam yat kincha jagatyama jagata. Pervade this entire world with vision of oneness. So this instruction is given to the Uttam Adhikari. Who is Uttam Adhikari? Who has got sadhana chatushtaya, who has renounced putreshna, vitteshna, lokeshna, who has renounced, who is ready to renounce the superimposed and focuses on the substratum, that is a Isha, and then only we can pervade. So asti bhati priyam rupam nama chetyancha panchakam. In Drupdurishya Vivek we saw that very important mantra to by heart. All the time when we are interacting in this world, we must remember that asti bhati priyam satchit ananda. These three qualities are belonging to Brahman, and nama rupa belongs to the Jagata. So whenever we interact with Ram, Nama Rupa, we must remember at the back of the mind that Asti Bhati Priyam, Isha is the substratum in all Chara Achara. How to do that? Renounce. What to renounce? We have already seen. And then what is the attitude we must practice? Ma Grudha Kasya Svidhanam, nothing belongs to me. It's a very important practice we can have. Because the moment I say this belongs to me, this is mine, the whole problem starts, because Bhagavan says, nothing is yours, everything is mine. That is where, yesterday also I mentioned in Gita, Lord gets very angry when we start saying mine, where Arjuna also got into trouble when the moment he saw the army, the first thing what he said, my people. How can I kill? The whole problem starts. Then, if I am not Uttam Adhikari, if I am not able to renounce, then we go to second mantra, where the secret given, na karma lipyate nare. How to live in this world where we are not getting entangled into the result of our actions. And more vasanas are not created unknowingly, unconsciously. How to do? Kurvan eva iha. This is the only method. Kurvan eva iha karmani. So I have to act, I have to actually do actions and duty, but how to do? We saw 14 principles of Karma Yoga. We have to always every day read, because we might forget in the transaction with the world, and then we get carried away. Then we get angry, then we get upset, then we stop talking, then we get jealous, then we get attached. So Karma Yoga becomes very important. These are the two things Adi Shankaracharya gives prime importance, where a lot of references are given that these are the two main things in the Vedas also. Then the third mantra, Asurya Namate Loka. Suppose these two I am not able to implement, then I will go into the lower gatis, where I am blinded by senses, where I am blinded by attachments. So I will go to those gatis and enjoy with those embodiments there in those worlds, because there are 14 lokas. There are lower worlds, there are higher worlds. And then the question comes, okay, you are asking us to focus on Isha. You are asking us to pervade with that substratum. You are asking us to have this vision of oneness. How? What is Isha? Please define Isha for us. So now the next 4 mantras, we have defined in the 4th various aspects, attributes of this Isha. So Vedantic students, so those who are into spirituality, one thing must come in our mind regularly, and that word I must keep in the mind, and that is define. Those who want to read Brahma Sutra, those who want to read higher texts, just for Prasthanatraya, we must read all 3, at least go through once in lifetime. Where will we get these 3 things together? It is written in Vivek Chudamani. Manushyatva, Mumukshatva, and Mahapurusha Ashraya. When our punya goes beyond Swarga, we get these 3. Suppose I am having Manushyatva, yes. Suppose having Mumukshatva, yes. So we are listening to this Isavasya Upanishad. Otherwise, what is the purpose? Prayojana must be very clear why I am listening to Isavasya Upanishad. So Prayojana is very clear, all of us, that Mumukshatva is what I want. And then Mahapurusha Ashraya, Swami Chinmayananda's Ashraya we are into. So then I must be exactly knowing what is the definition. Because all the higher texts, they are very clear on define correctly. The moment I start defining it more and more, other things go out of our mind. Because definition is something that which removes all other things from the mind. So the first mantra, we saw various attributes, pointers, anejad, changeless existence. As Guruji says, we must always personalize this Upanishad. That is a very important point. Otherwise, that Brahman who is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, that Brahman whose attribute is Anedajad, Ekam, Manaso, Javiyo, Nainad, Deva, Apnuvan, Purva, Marshata, all these things I am not interested. Why should I be interested in that Brahman somewhere? But it must be immediately personalized. So, Anejada means changeless existence, means I am not going to change, so I become fearless. Gurudev says, how to know whether I am growing in spirituality? Very important question I had. So that time we are answered by one factor very clearly. Slowly, this spiritual knowledge, when it will start getting digested to the core, I will start becoming more and more fearless. And that's the reason Taittiriya Upanishad also says fearless happiness. Ekam, second pointers, one illuminating factor of many. Eyes illumine many things, one tongue illumines many tastes, one mind illumines many emotions, one intellect illumines many thoughts, one Atma illumines everything. Most powerful one. So I become powerful. I don't feel from deep within that I am a weak person, one bechara admi, main kya karu? No, I will start feeling that I am most powerful. I am not born into this world. This world, I am the creator. Vedanta is the only philosophy, only school of thought, only darshan which says I am God. I am the creator of this world. So this is a change in my mind, and not that this world was there and I have been born in this. I am the creator of this world. And where this creation is existing in my thought. Because when there is no thought, there is no creation in the deep sleep. I dissolve the creation. So I am the creator, I am the sustainer, I am the dissolver of the creation, that is samsara. Nainad Deva Apnuvan Purva Marshata, that is, I am unattached to the objects. Sangoham, Asangoham. Every day, Vedantic student must chant this mantra before sleeping in the morning. Asangoham, 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 Punah Punah. Satchitananda Swarupoham, Aham Eva Aham Avyaya. I am unattached. I am unattached to happenings in the world. I am unattached to the happenings in my body. I am unattached to the happenings in my mind. I am unattached to happening in my intellect. I am unattached to happenings in my memory. And then I must go and sleep in the lap of the God. Tad dhavato nyan neti tishtada. I am not limited by time and space. That's the reason Bible says, be still and know God. Here also we say the same thing. The body must be still, mind must be silent, and then I don't have to do anything. Automatically the God is realized. So 2 sadhanas I have to do. Balance thing God does. So we have a deal. God says you do these 2 things, balance things I will do. What I have to do? Still the body, silent the mind. Then there will be Atma Darshana. Tasmin apo matarishwa dadati. I am one expressing through all BMI Ishwara. So I am expressing through all. So this is till now, this is what we saw. This is a summary of till now what we saw. Now the 5th mantra is also going to point out. But now these pointers are coming in contradictory paradoxes. And this is where we do not understand this without Bhashyakar, without Guru Parampara, because it's not very easy to understand all these things literally. So now one question before we go ahead, we had mentioned that why the third mantra came of the lower gati, because we saw the nahi ninda nyaya. Something is criticized or something is pointed which is lower to glorify something higher. Now, second pointer which is going to come are contradictory pointers. And this, suppose I understand, I will not have any doubt in any scriptures anywhere in the world, because I will understand the point of view from where it is coming from. And why these contradictory pointers are given? Because, very important point, extremely important point according to me, because this Brahman or Atma is beyond words. When we say Atma, Brahman, God, these are all words, and we make a concept of God, we make a concept of Brahman. Yeah, do you know Brahman? Yeah, I know Brahman. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. I can define Brahman and then give definition. I can write 4 pages, but these are all words. Just now, Neeta aunty was asking me what Amma said, Amrutanandamayi. She said one thing, all these words are like writing honey on paper and then eating that paper. No taste of honey will come. No taste of honey will come if I am just getting hooked on into the words. And and there was a very interesting question when we had a satsang with Swami Advainanji. One person asked, what is Shastra Vasana? Going on reading one scripture after another scripture without having attention on whether I am growing with that scripture is, he told, Shastra Vasana. Just because I cannot sit quietly and I have to, engage my mind, that's the reason I am reading Shastra, that is Shastra Vasana. So he said that what is not Shastra Vasana, that if I am doing the Shastra Adhyayan for God, if I am doing Shastra Adhyayan for improving myself, then it doesn't become Shastra Vasana. Otherwise, one scripture after another scripture, no change in me, then I must become aware where Adi Shankaracharya says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Moodhamate Murkha. Don't get entangled into Dukrun Karne, because some change must happen in me. So Guruji always says in Upanishads, again and again, we have to remember that how I can personalize this knowledge, because it sounds technical. Lot of technical words come and then I'm talking about that Brahman. So I don't feel that I'm Brahman after reading all this kind of, that all these qualifications what I read out in the last 2 minutes before, they are my qualifications. I am Anedajat. I am Ekam. I am Manoso Javiyo. I am Nainad Deva Apnuvan Purva Marshata. This is spoken about me. So when Guruji says, when I start feeling this, then we start growing. Otherwise, somebody says, you are Murkha, you have not done this job properly, you are such a fool, then I feel so bad. But suppose somebody says, Arey, your nature is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that's okay, that I know. No feeling. So sometimes while going to higher texts like Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, one message which came to me constantly is that make it personalized. So now these contradictory pointers are going to come in the fifth mantra, and these contradictory pointers are given to ensure that we do not form a concept which is made up of words, because finally we have to transcend the words, transcend the thoughts, and that is where we will find the Brahman. So we are going to see a couple of contradictory pointers where Brahman is pointed by saying it is Tade jati, tannai jati, tad dure, tadvantike. So this the which is mentioned, it is actually the. That is very important, because many times I saw people write Sadguru, and the spelling what they write in English is S-A-D, Sad Guru. Sometimes it is, I see Sad Guru, nahi. I have to write S-A-T. So, Tade Jati, Tanne Jati, Vidya will read out, but here there are some pointers are given that this moves, it does not move. It is near, it is far, it is inside, it is outside. How can in one breath you say this kind of contradictory pointers? So those who are interested in thinking about God, Brahman, Atman, it is paradoxical knowledge, so it is very difficult. So God says it is very difficult to understand. So I would request Vidya to read
Only the fifth one, no?
only the fifth one, yeah.
Tade jati tannai jati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bhakyatah tade jati tannai jati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bhakyatah.
So Tade Jati, Tannai Jati. One paradox. Tad Dure Tad Vantike. Second paradox. Tadaransya means inside and Sarvasya Bahyata. It is outside. So there are three paradoxes are mentioned here. So now we'll analyze this. Contradictions are mentioned to ensure we do not make any concepts. We do not become fanatic. Very, very important, because you see, if you don't analyze this, so this is extremely important, because in all other religions, they don't give this contradiction. God is like this, like this, like this. Then I have a fixed mindset that God is in heaven. It is going to judge me on the final day. After that judgment, either I will go to hell or heaven. God is only in the temple. God is all pervading. Here it is mentioned contradictions. So I don't start imagining about God. I don't start imagining about Brahman. I don't start imagining about Atma. We do not try to know the self with words. Very, very important pointer I must remember. Remove all the conditioning, remove all the concepts, and then realize Brahman. And why contradictions are mentioned? Because whenever contradiction comes, the mind will stop analyzing, and that is where the mind will become quieter in the meditation. Not now. Right now, do not make the mind quieter, otherwise we will sleep. But in meditation, when these two things will come, then the mind will not be able to analyze and it will become quietened. And then when it becomes quietened, then the illuminator will come in forefront. Spurati Rut Swayam, from inside. So it stops, and that is what we want. But that stopping of the mind must be with full alertness. Nisargadatta Maharaj says that just sit and know that you are the I am without words. Actually, when I was in college, one of the book I came across from J.K. Krishnamurti, and he was talking about this, and which actually confused me quite a bit. I tried quite a bit on this. I had a long discussion with Nandu, who is Mayadedi's brother. We used to discuss on these topics. He said in that book that, can you look at the tree without the word tree? Now that fascinated me quite a bit. Now I understand what he was talking about. Can we look at a person without the name of the person, without any word? And this we must practice with close relationships. Especially husband and wife must practice, look at the person without relationship, without any word, and then I can see the person as it is. Because we don't see the person as it is, because we have an image about the person. Suppose you ask any wife or husband, I know about him. I know everything about him. What he will do, I know. How he'll talk, I know. Everything I know. But people change. The moment I say I know, that means I'm living in the past. That is what J.K. Krishnamurti says. So it's a big sadhana. This is a sadhana, what is recommended here in the fifth mantra, that seeing things as they are. That is called also in Buddhism as Vipassana. Vipassana means seeing things as they are, as it is. As it is means without words. Suppose I'm able to see the tree. So tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, suppose you have a plant or tree, just look at the tree and see what kind of words come on. It is so difficult to look at a tree without the word tree. So here I have to know I am without the word I am. So when I close my eyes, if I ask who am I, no answer will come. That is very good. If no answer is coming after asking who am I, that is where I am moving beyond words. So why we are discussing this? Because otherwise this all Upanishadic knowledge becomes a theoretical unless we don't personalize it, how to use it. So what is tadde jati, tannai jati? It moves, it does not move. Achha, now that is also not mentioned. Sometimes it moves, sometimes it doesn't move. At the same time it moves and at the same time it doesn't move. That is what has been mentioned. So how is it possible? So example, we will take that I have traveled for 700 miles. Suppose I say, people when they come from travel, they say, oh, I have come from Bangalore and then I have come from Chennai, I have come from America, I have traveled several miles, but actually I have not traveled. The aeroplane has traveled, the car has traveled, and the lift has traveled. In our building also we don't walk, the lift brings us up. So whether can I say that I have actually traveled? I was sitting in the aeroplane or taxi. Second example, suppose I go from here to Pune and say that I'm traveling when I call up. Okay, what are you doing? No, right now I'm busy. What are you? I'm traveling. But right now, no, after this session, whenever any call comes when we're in travel, now you have to remember this verse, that whether I'm traveling or taxi is traveling, whether I'm traveling or aeroplane is traveling. So here also in our day-to-day life, we are having the same experience that actually I'm not traveling, but I'm traveling. Suppose I ask all of you, are you traveling right now? No, I'm not traveling right now. I'm at home. No. We are traveling 1100 miles per hour every minute sitting on this earth, round and round and round and round, going around the sun. We are traveling. So even when we are talking about Atma, it is same thing with us. How can we say confidently that I'm traveling or not traveling? We have to remember that at the same time we are moving and not moving. That is one way of understanding this. Now, second way, which is very important, we have discussed this, that any time in Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita or Brahma Sutra, whatever we read, suppose we find any contradiction in anything in the scriptures, first thing we must check, what is the context, what is the point of view. So from Nirubhatik point of view, from without any Upadhi, Atma is not moving. But body, mind, intellect is moving. So because Atma is now body, mind, intellect is superimposed on the Atma. So that is moving. So Tade Jati, Tannai Jati means it moves. From the Nirupadik point of view, it doesn't move. And from the Upadhi point of view, it is moving. Upadhi means conditioning. So what is the conditioning the Atma is having? Body, mind, and intellect. So I must ask myself every day these three questions. Whether I am considering myself as body, mind, intellect. That is first option I have. Option number one. That is called as a transactional I. We must remember three eyes. We all are having three eyes. Not only Shiva is having three eyes. We are also having three eyes. We had done this in Saddarshan. The second eye is a transmigrating eye, which goes from one body to another body. Whether I consider that as myself or whether I consider myself as that transcendental I. Three T's are very easy to remember. And Isavasya Sarvam says that you every day shift from transactional I to transmigratory I to the transcendental I, which is where there is fearless happiness. So now, last sentence, what I have written, may the soul rest in peace. We should not write henceforth if anybody passes away, because that is not our philosophy, because their philosophy is that the soul has to rest in peace till the judgment day comes. But in our culture, in our Vedanta, we say the soul will go from one body to another body. So we say, may the jiva, may the person get sadgati. In Upanishad say that, not the lower gati. A very important point when we bless somebody, when we give our blessings, or when we actually write, or when we go to a death ceremony, we must remember that we must pray for the transmigratory eye for Sadgati. And many times it happens that, sometimes we are sitting and we feel very good. Somebody has prayed for us. Maybe that time when we died last time, somebody had given Sadgati. And suddenly we will feel frustrated. So where it comes from? From within. And that's the reason we do Shraddha and all, because in that time, the person who has embodied soul, who has become embodied soul, he will suddenly get money. If the Shraddha is done, food is given, suddenly food will come. So tade jati, tannai jati. Second, withdraw the attention from the movement to silence. This is what is the practice part. Neti neti meditation is the only meditation possible. So again, I repeat, the only meditation possible when we are meditating is, it is always better to meditate by saying, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. Very important point we discussed in Brahma Sutra there also. Because some people say, I am Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, but Swamiji said that suppose you say that word Satyam, nothing will come to my mind. Suppose I say I am Jnanam, what comes in our mind? Nothing. So what I must say, I am Satyam where Asatyam is going away. That is very easy to know, because what we know is Asatya. What we do not know is Satya. We are Satya. So Neti Neti meditation is one of the most powerful meditation, Nididhyasanam. That which is perceived is not me. This is what I must practice in the meditation. Tad dure, tad vantike. It is far and it is near. So now here concept of time is indicated. Guruji says that far for people who are not ready and ignorant. That's the reason many people say, no, I will not realize this birth. I have many births. Nearest to whom one who is ready. This is me only. What should I negate? So here what is negated is distance, time. It is not far, it is not near, it is me only. I am searching something outside but suddenly find it inside. So what is the point of view? Tad dure and Tadvantike is for an ignorant, it is far off. And for a knowledgeable person, it is very close. That's the reason Kabir Das ji says, Main to tere paas hu. Yesterday also mentioned the same verse in Bhagavad Gita, na mandir mein, na masjid mein, na yoga sannyas mein, main to vishwas mein, main to tere paas mein. So it is far off and it is near. So I must ask myself whether I feel God is far off me or it is inside me only. If it is inside me, there is no question of worrying, because that I do not want, because my habit is of worrying. When I really feel that God is with me, within me, where is the worry? Where is anxiety? Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. It is inside me, sitting in my stomach. It is Buddhi Grahyam. So where it is in me only. So what do I feel? God Atman is near or far from me? That is what is a practice I must do. Nisargadatta Maharaj says, what you seek is so near you that there is no place for a way. Where is a path? We are talking about karma path, bhakti path, jnana path, hatha path, kriya path. He says, what you seek is so near you, where is a way for it? For a way there has to be distance. For a way there has to be time. Hari Om, I would invite all of you to think, because I think I am going faster or slower. But this last sentence, what I mentioned, I need to think that the moment I think that there has to be moksha will be in some time later on, that means I am creating a distance. I am creating time which is beyond time and space. It is inside and it is outside both. Space is indicated here. Can we say space is inside and outside this room? So we take that pot experience. Can we say the pot space is inside and the outside space is outside? When the pot breaks, where is that space? That pot space has got merged into the outside space. Second example, which I always like, nowadays many buildings are going into redevelopment. If your building has gone into redevelopment, please see your house. And then when that house hanging in the 7th floor, 15th floor, and that building collapses, where that space went, which I thought was mine. That space got merged into ultimate space, and I am calling that as Manu, my house. That my house goes when that building collapses. So see the adhyasa, see the superimposition, what we are doing with all these kind of things. So it is not outside, it is not inside. So outside, inside is only names. It is all pervasive, satyam, jnanam, anantam. Because anything which is infinite cannot be inside or cannot be outside. But what we say is that self is inside as an illuminator of body, mind, intellect. It is only a concept to understand. The mind, intellect, memory, and ahankara, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. There is no separate, what do you call, compartments of these four. This is one only. It is only for understanding we are compartmentalizing. So substratum, rope, and superimposition, snake. That is what is indicated here, that something not there, but what we see, shell and silver, sand and mirror, self and world. In the same way, there is nothing, something inside Atma and an outside Atma is not there. This is very important to understand, because other religions say that God is only in the heaven, not on the earth, so they are okay to kill, so they want to convert. Here we are saying that it is, this world is only Jagatyam, Jagat is only superimposition on the all pervading Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So this, I always say that when we talk of this, we are not able to relate with all these things quickly, because all these attributes are mentioned exactly opposite of our body, mind, intellect. So we have to understand very clearly that what we are discussing right now, the knowledge part, which is coming from our Shruti, why it is difficult to digest, because this is exactly contrary to my experience. My experience is limited, finite, changing, and not what you're talking is exactly opposite. So there is a contradiction between knowledge and experience all the time. And then when this knowledge becomes my experience, then the realization happens. So as we know, this time this story we have discussed many times. Ramana Maharshi was once reading Upanishad. Somebody asked me, why? What are you reading? Why do you need to read Upanishad? He told, I am reading what they have written about me. And then he smiled and said, I think they have done a good job. Good job. Because for a realized master, even Vedas are not required. Veda nahi kadala. There is a Marathi abhanga. Veda nahi kadala. Veda also only can point out. Shruti, what we are reading is only can point out that, but it will not understand it. So we saw the contradictory pointers, which are very important, because this makes our mind subtle. This makes our intellect sharper. and we don't start forming concepts about God, Brahman, myself, and this helps us also in the day-to-day transaction. This we must start with our day-to-day transaction. From today, we will drop all concepts about people. This person is like this person is not like this person is like that. Here we are discussing, you cannot form any concept because that person would have changed in overnight. How do you know? That person would have got realized also, but वो तो मूर्ख है. One person went, and we'll close with one person went to Swami Advayanandaji's hall. Swamiji, I have understood all Vedanta. I have understood essence. What did you understand? I am Brahman. Swamiji was very smart. He asked him, okay, what about other people? Other people are Mahamurkha. Swamiji told, you have not understood anything. The self in me, self in all. If you are considering all are other Murkha and I am Brahman, that means you have not understood anything. I must be able to see that Brahman in everybody. Chara achara. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.